We've just managed to find two male giraffes that are involved in the ultimate battle for dominance. And what they do is they stand next to each other and swing their heads around, trying to impact each other with the top of their heads. They've got those ossicones, which are solid bone, and what they're essentially trying to do is knock each other over. This can get very, very intense sometimes, where one male will kill the other, or if it gets knocked over, just the simple act of falling over and hitting their head on the ground can kill the giraffe. So it's awesome to watch them swinging their heads around. They try and brace themselves, spreading their legs out, tucking their tail between their legs, and then swinging their neck as hard as they can, and that helps develop and build up a lot of the muscles in their neck. What they're trying to do is impact either on the neck, the shoulders, the rump, just trying to cause any damage that they can. What is slightly interesting here is the one male is quite a bit bigger than the other. Normally they only get involved in a serious fight if they're evenly matched or both the same size. They are heading a bit further off into the distance here, so it's not going to be as great of a view from there. So we're going to start carrying on back towards camp. This afternoon we're sitting with a pack of wild dogs, and it's the same pack that we've been seeing over the last few days with that very heavily pregnant female. And so we're sitting here in anticipation for them to get up and start moving, because this morning they were found and there was only 10 dogs here. The alpha female is not with them. So our hopes are that they get up and start moving around, potentially cross through the Sand River, which will be amazing, and then head in the direction of where they've left the alpha female and possibly another dog, which means that they could be seeking out a potential den. Two mornings ago she was very, very heavily pregnant, about to pop, and as she was moving you could see her stomach bulging out the sides and hanging very low, so she must be incredibly uncomfortable. And whilst they move around, they'll obviously take any opportunity that they can to hunt, and by storing the food in their bellies, once they've caught something and eaten it, they'll then carry some of that food back and regurgitate it for the alpha female and whoever she's with there. So she'll still get some sustenance from them, but she's then waiting it out so that she's in a safe enough space with a decent den nearby should she go into labor and need to give birth to those pups. For our sakes, we're holding thumbs, we're crossing our fingers, we're holding our breaths, we're doing everything we possibly can to potentially have a wild dog den on Londolozi again for the 3rd year in a row. We don't want to count our chickens before they hatch just yet, but we can always just get a little bit hopeful in the odd chance that they do den on Londolozi again. So with them all starting to move around now, often just before they get up and start going, they all get very excited and start to play with each other, where they all run into a tight little huddle and jump all over each other. There's a lot of high-pitched sort of cheeping, or it almost sounds like birds calling, and so that then precedes them moving on to either cover some ground and potentially hunt, or in this case let's hope that they're heading straight back towards that pregnant female. The sun's getting a little bit closer to the horizon now, so temperatures are cooling down, which is all in their favor, as they're very fast-paced, quick-moving animals, and that generates a lot of body heat. So if they move around in the cooler hours of the day, it suits them a little bit better. So the wild dogs are up and moving very slowly at the moment, but they're heading in the direction of the airstrip, and we know that often this time of day there's a lot of impala that lurk around there, so there's a very high chance that as soon as they see some impala that they take off after them, because these wild dogs are all looking pretty hungry. So I'm sure they're going to try and cash in on whatever meal they can get now. They've seen 2 impala in the distance there, but it's a bit too far for the wild dogs. It's not worth their while trying to chase after just 2 impala from this distance. So they look like they're putting their heads down and they're carrying on still in the direction of the airstrip. The only snag we've got now is they've got a hyena trailing them. And so if they do catch anything, the hyena is going to come charging in and try and steal what they've got, and potentially call for any other hyenas to come and help it. So the wild dogs will put in all the hard yards going after the impala, but the hyena will just come in and steal. So they've just come across the airstrip. We had the most phenomenal scene with them backlit up above our eye level. This incredible golden light coming through. They've then now come running across, stopped at one of these larger water holes. We got to a situation where it looked as though the wild dogs were pretty desperate or keen for a drink. And as they got down to the water's edge, they were barking, so I presume there was a crocodile or something moving in the reeds there that they saw. They've had a little bit of a standoff with some wildebeest in the distance, and they've decided there's too many adult wildebeest there, they can't go after any of those calves. So now they're continuing on, still just roaming through these open clearings now, looking for any impala. It's getting pretty dark now, and so we don't like to stay with the wild dogs after dark because it puts undue stress and pressure on them, and being as endangered as they are, we don't want to do that. So we'll stick with them for another few more minutes, see if they get up to anything, but if not, we'll then leave them, hopefully come through here in the morning and see exactly where they've gone and potentially try and follow them back to where that female might be.